Why lug out the big bag? For quick pickups, you need the cordless, easy-to-use Dustbuster Power Brush from Black & Decker. Its powerful rotating brush will cut vacuuming down to size. The Dustbuster Power Brush for the holidays.
We invite you and your family to enjoy this Kraft TV special, featuring our TV special recipes and fine products. Kraft Real Mayonnaise, Kraft 100% natural cheddar cheese, and Philadelphia brand cream cheese.
A gift from Activision is a gift of pure imagination. Give Pitfall, the wild jungle adventure game that made Pitfall Harry famous all over the world. Or set them loose with Keystone Capers, that madcap chase of cops and robbers. A game so funny, it's a crime. This Christmas, don't just give them games, give them the ones they really want. Activision video games, for more fun than you ever imagined.
We have brand names for the holidays for less.
Marshalls has the famous maker and designer clothing you want for less. 20 to 60% less than department store regular prices. Save on casual wear, sleepwear, shirts and blouses, fine quality giftware, accessories, and festive home fashions. Marshalls. Call for the store nearest you. That's smart.
In a distant land, Santa's elves are especially busy making you something special. A stuffed reindeer ornament just like the reindeer in the new motion picture Santa Claus the Movie.
Good like this.
And it's free when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates. So put plenty of both on your Christmas list. McDonald's gift certificates and free reindeer ornaments. Seems felici.
Looks like Santa needs help.
Now you're going to tell me Santa Claus could use an IBM computer.
He probably could.
I knew we'd get around to this.
Can keep track of who wants what, who's been nice and naughty. You'd be in trouble. And knowing IBM, he'd get great service even at the North Pole. Santa could use an IBM computer. Sure could. Sure could.
Maybe he could. Last year, he forgot to get me what I asked for.
The Christmas cards of Hallmark. Traditional cards and religious cards. Simple cards, fancy cards, even funny cards. Cards that say things just the way you want to say them. Cards that show how much you really care about your family and your friends. The most ways and the very best ways to express your feelings at Christmas. Only at Hallmark, where there's more to Christmas than ever before.
Take a closer look at Walgreens this Christmas. For everything under the tree to everything on the tree, your nearby Walgreens is just the right size for easy shopping. Leg Sheer Energy pantyhose are on sale now during Walgreens Big Dollar Days event. Your choice, 2 pair for $5 through Saturday at Walgreens.
The Kodak K80 is the first fully automatic 35mm camera priced under $100. You just aim and shoot. Only $95 through Saturday at Walgreens.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Everyone's asleep.
Shh, I know how to wake them up. Come on. Oh, you're home.
Happy holidays from Folgers.
Oi! To make your Christmas brighter, you need the Energizer! Do right, the extraordinary Energizer! Stuff these in your stockings, plant these by your tree. This battery has the most energy! Do right, the extraordinary Energizer!
Santa?
Oi!
Laboratory tests prove in most devices, Energizer lasts longer than any other battery.
For energy, remember me! New Energizer!
Quick, up here.
It looks just like you.
Looking all right yourself, kid. Now, when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates, you get a free plush musical ornament of Oliver or Dodger, the characters from the new Disney movie Oliver and Company, now only at a theater near you. Oliver and Dodger make great gifts and even play a tune.
Hey, Dodge, we made beautiful music together.
Yeah, kid.
Your holiday place, McDonald's.
This Christmas, imagine her in great-looking holiday coordinates from a place you might not have imagined, Rich's Budget Shops. Imagine these blouses, pants, and skirts in lots of festive styles and colors for just $11.99 each during the Budget Shops holiday sale. Imagine her warm and cozy in these luxurious fleece robes. Imagine these jewel-tone robes in many attractive styles for just $12.69. Imagine fashion and selection, all from a place you might not have imagined, Rich's Budget Shops, where this Christmas it will be easy to imagine her looking very good for less.
This holiday season, have a party with Chicken Tenders 20-piece holiday pack from Burger King. All white meat chicken breast fillets cooked in 100% vegetable oil. So quick, open up a 20-piece holiday pack and have a party, because there ain't nothing like the real thing.
Here's a great idea for Christmas. Gift certificates from Burger King. 50 cents each or a book for $5. A great way to say happy holidays from Burger King.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. Jeffrey, she wants everything.
Well, everything's at Toys R Us. Like Golden Books Rainbow Bright Storybooks, only $4.97 each. Toys R Us has a whole library of them. Only $9.97 for Ertl's radio-controlled 18 van.
Wow!
And only $10.97 for Uno Wild Tiles from International Games.
More games, more toys. Oh, boy! I want to be a Toys R Us kid.
Join Julie Andrews for Christmas in the Austrian Alps with special guests Placido Domingo and John Denver. The hills are alive with Julie Andrews and the sound of Christmas. Next.
This Christmas, don't leave their feet out in the cold. Say, Merry Christmas, feet. Give them Dear Foams that'll shock them. Dear Foams that'll sock them. Dear Foams pets are neat. Dear Foam sweaters for their feet. From all of us, our families too. Merry Dear Foams to you.
Having a famous father isn't all that great. He's always recognized, gets tons of letters, and people think I get everything I want. Wrong. Last Christmas, I wanted Kaboom, Laser Blast, and Freeway, 3 knockout video games from Activision. Well, I got 2, so I don't get everything I want. This year, I want Mega Mania and Grand Prix and...
Son?
Yeah, Mom?
Your father wants to know if you fed the reindeer.
Gotta go.
Oh, hey, Dasher, I need stocking stuffers. Send down the Milton Bradley travel games.
You sank my battleship.
Answer?
Yahtzee!
Answer!
Milton Bradley travel games are compact versions of fun family classics.
The perfect stuff.
Connect 4!
For stockings.
Tomorrow, it's a super Saturday of great fun and adventure with Turbo Teen and the Dragon's Lair. Then,
Merry Christmas, everyone!
catch the Yuletide spirit with Scooby-Doo as he cooks up a batch of holiday surprises. Then, tomorrow night at 8/7 Central, a family of misfits takes over the church play and act out an all-new Christmas story. Loretta Swit stars in the best Christmas pageant ever. Tomorrow, your Saturday morning favorites in the best Christmas pageant ever.
You know, this Christmas, give your family a gift that keeps on giving. An RCA video disc player and video discs. The RCA video disc player gives everyone in your family the gift of great entertainment. More than 1,000 great shows to watch all year long. All on one of the simplest, most inexpensive video systems you can buy. And you know what? If you buy a player for Christmas, RCA will give you a $50 Christmas bonus. $50 back on the gift that gives over and over and over.
Ho, ho, ho! Santa here. Call 1-900-660-6666, and I'll tell you a different Christmas story every day. But before you call, listen to old Santa. Your parents have to pay for these calls, so get their permission first. Then, when you call me, I'll tell you how to get a whoopee from my Christmas collection. And part of your $1.85 2-minute call goes to Special Olympics. So call me at 1-900-660-6666. Merry Christmas!
From Florida, a star-studded all-new Bob Hope Christmas show with the All-America College football team.
Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Brown.
The Bob Hope Christmas Show.
Saturday.
Grab your gift list and hurry into Circuit City's holiday sale. Save on this GE 4-head VCR with on-screen programming, now just $299. And this JVC portable stereo system, now an incredible $48. The holiday sale, going on now at Circuit City. The intelligent choice for Christmas. Ho, ho, ho!
Give him a gift that says you thought about him.
Time. Thanks, Dad.
Give her a gift that says you think she's smart.
I can sure use this, Mom.
A gift for those who love the world around them.
Honey, thanks.
A gift that's really from your heart.
This Christmas, let someone know how special they really are by touching their mind with Time magazine. What better way to keep them up with the world and help them understand the news that affects us all? Whether it's startling stories that rock the world or lighter looks at people's lives, you'll be giving a gift of words and pictures that makes the world exciting 52 times a year.
Give him a gift that keeps on giving. Give her a gift that lasts all year long. Give them a gift that says Merry Christmas, time after time after time.
Why not flatter someone you love with a full year subscription to Time? They get 52 issues in all, and you get Time's special Christmas rate, just $31. That's almost 20% off the basic subscription rate and 60% off the cover price. And we won't bill you until after the holidays. Call now, and we'll send you this 1983 Time Pocket Diary to put under the tree to announce your gift. Like Time, it'll stay with someone all year long. It's so easy to give time for Christmas. Just call our toll-free number, 1-800-621-7200.
Give them time to smile, time to learn. Give them time to think and time to dream.
Call 1-800-621-7200.
Merry Christmas.
Get Time for 60% off the cover price. Merry Christmas. And get the Pocket Diary free.
Time again.
All right, I got no time for these songs. Let's see here. Come on now. Problem with these songs is they just don't rock, you know. Well, hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with the healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that no man no more die, born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. That one's for you, Jesus. Nobody's thinking of you down here at this time of year anymore. Ha!
I may live through 2023. I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on. You are a cunt. Man or woman, you are a cunt. A C-U-N-T what? Cunts. I happen to love the word.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know. This channel is harsh reality. Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl that like going
that is the best shit fucking
shopping
ever.
for dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that like playing with the kids.
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had, man. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Welcome, everybody. It is a late night. Yeah, I don't expect a lot of people to be in here because I actually have quality subscribers who have jobs and families and but sometimes, you know, like I got folks who are insomniacs. You know what I mean? And I got insomniacs, and I happen to be one of those insomniacs from time to time. And I had a long day today, so we are gonna kick it. And we're gonna. I don't know exactly how long this stream's gonna be. We're just gonna try to have a good time. I was in LTL's. I see him in chat here. Right. I was in his chat. He had a nice live going on, man. It was I think we're gonna set something up pretty soon. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna set something up pretty soon, I think. And I'm looking forward to that. And yeah. And it turns out we have a mutual acquaintance, Steve from SF Investigates. I did not know that. And that's interesting. That's really interesting because I plan on having him up here at some point soon. I covered the Layla Santanello case as much as I ethically feel I can, being not involved in that case at all directly, I mean, and him being a licensed investigator who at one point was under the employ of Layla's father and oh no, Layla's father and stepmother. Oh my goodness. Okay, people, we need to, as much as I love Cherry, as much as you guys love Cherry, who is my favorite insomniac. I need tomatoes in the chat for her new handle, okay? Because Die Hard is most definitely a Christmas movie. So tomatoes at Cherry, who's saying that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Boo! 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 You suck! We all know that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It is one of the Christmas movies. Bruce Willis even confirmed before his recent neurological demise that he's suffering right now. It's very sad what's happening with Bruce Willis. And Die Hard is most definitely a Christmas movie. Mistaken Reaper, you're absolutely right. It is one of the Christmas movies. Totally LTL. Totally, dude. Totally. And you get a full super cuck dance for that one. A full one. It's going all the way.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super 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 dad. Super dad.
Yeah. Exactly, Cuck Church. For those of you who don't know, and I'm glad LTL's in the chat right now because this is fun. I told you that my first encounter with SF Investigates was because he was covering the Kylie Rodney case. And I don't know how much you know about that case and how much of a shit show that was, because it was absolutely a shit show. And this dude who was dancing in that video there is known as Ryan Upchurch, who is a country rap / crap internet sensation. And yeah, he got himself in a lot of hot water sticking his nose in that case. So yeah, and SF Investigates is actually the person who is responsible for finding those fire cameras and finding the footage of Kylie's car going into the Prosser Reservoir. So yeah, good on SF Investigates for that one. And yes, Kylie Rodni, her death was a tragic accident, nothing more. That's all it was, a tragic accident, and people need to just let this family grieve in peace and move on. Anyway, so you know what? I was gonna say something. I'm not. I'm still too heated with I'm still too heated about Bill Cannon totally being a douche, and that I'm gonna be a good boy and not start criticizing other cops online here and on YouTube. At least not tonight. But yeah. Anyway. So shut up, Cherry. So yeah. So the other day, via request, I reviewed this yellow, what is his name? Yellow Cottage Tales. And I want to be clear before I even start this. I want to be clear. I have nothing personal against this guy. I don't dislike him in any way. I don't know the guy, you know? I mean, I'm going to treat him like I treat anybody else that I review. If he says something stupid, I'm probably going to ridicule him and make fun. But it's not personal, and I don't have anything against the guy. And I realize a lot of other people just don't like him, and I get it. But I just don't. Yeah, I don't. I have nothing against this guy. He seems like a nice enough guy, honestly. He doesn't seem like, a lot of the times the people that I mostly review are usually really morally bankrupt people. He doesn't strike me as a morally bankrupt person. He just strikes me as a guy who has who's educated, but who's, and that's fine if he's being a dick to me. That's fine. I mean, I was a dick to him first. He strikes me as the kind of guy who's educated, but puts the thought of himself being educated over applying common sense. I'm not an educated guy, but I take pride in having some common sense. And the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe case here definitely requires an application of common sense from anybody who's following it. And we're seeing an epidemic right now of people covering this and not having any common sense, who because it's the truth. I posted this on Twitter. Seriously, like basically everybody who I've seen who are jumping to the conclusion that Karen Reed's guilty haven't seemed to do any research on this case. They haven't looked at any documents. They haven't looked at any witness statements. They haven't looked at anything. So agreed, Suzanne. It's not common sense. Yeah, fake math is not common sense. So I also there are a couple people who introduced me to this case, and I'm gonna be hopefully setting something up with those two creators who introduced me to this case, because I feel like this community, this local Massachusetts community that seems to have embraced me, that I'm very grateful for. I think you guys would probably embrace them as well. And one of them is a Massachusetts native. So hopefully I'll get those two on a show with me here, and we can get some really serious insight, because they're really, really good at deep digging and investigating. Well, I don't want to say investigating, but at least research, you know. And I think you guys would really find them to be a beneficial ally in this, as far as stating facts. You know, they may not jump to the same opinions as you guys do every time about everything, but they are absolutely thorough, and I'm proud to be associated with them. Laurel Hughes, welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, but yeah, I'm again, I don't have any issues with this yellowtail dude. You know, this is all in good fun. You know, I don't have any personal. I don't have anything personally invested in you know, our differences in opinions. We're allowed to have differences of opinions here. But the thing is if you say stupid things, you're subject to criticism, as am I, as is anybody else. So, and Clubber's doing great. He's in the other room sleeping. Thank you for asking. And let's just get into it, because I ain't got all night. So yeah, before I get into this, so this is this is a review of a review of a review. So I reviewed him, he reviewed me reviewing him, and now I'm going to review him reviewing me reviewing him. That's what's going down here.
All right, hey guys. Yes, this boozer is drinking tonight. As my friend Tom will tell you, I very seldom drink, pretty much just on vacation. Unless I'm not feeling well, I'll have a drink. So I have still fighting off a cold, and unfortunately it's Miller Lite. That's all we had in the house, which would be the last beer on earth. So we got a lot of good stuff to go over tonight. I watched Dave's show earlier with
yeah, Dave was live earlier today while I was at the gym, and I dropped a few comments in there, and I was listening during my workout. It was pleasant. I really like Dave's show, and it was a pleasure to have joined him on that panel. Everybody on that panel was really, really cool and really awesome, and I look forward to doing that again.
The Glare, who is a new guy to me. I hadn't actually seen him before. I saw last night. Of course, I got informed that he was covering my show. But I thought he was very good on Dave's show. I thought it was a good show, and he was likable and very articulate. So we're going to go over.
He's saying nice things
a little bit.
He's being nice.
His reaction video to mine, and we'll have a little fun with it.
And I haven't watched this yet. Again, I keep getting requests. I keep getting requests to like review the review. So okay, I was like, all right, why not? Fuck it. And that's what we're doing here. So I haven't even watched this yet. I've seen little bits and pieces, but there was a creator, a grown-ass man who calls himself Dolly, who's a fucking idiot. Like, I mean, just the stupidest of the stupid, really. Like, this guy is just, I mean, I don't it's really funny. Like this guy, when I like, I think it's been like 2 years since I worked at a gym, and I love that job, by the way. And no, I didn't clean the floors at the gym because we had a janitorial service. But it was funny listening to that guy do that, because when I was working at the gym, dude was working the counter at 7-Eleven. So I don't know why the fuck this guy thinks he can shit on people's livelihoods. And the thing is I would never like shit on him for working at 7-Eleven. It's an honest job. Anybody with an honest job gets my respect as far as that's concerned. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you shovel shit. I don't care if you're a fucking lawyer. I don't care if you're, I mean, somebody who shovels shit usually gets more respect from me than a lawyer, honestly. I don't really like lawyers. But sometimes in these cases that we talk about, I do love them. Right now, I love Aiden's lawyer. That dude, Young Jerks had that dude on, and that dude was just spitting facts, and I was just like, yeah, love this guy. Totally. But, you know, the fact is lawyers are expensive, unnecessarily expensive. And they make me mad. But yeah. So the little bit that I did see, I was watching a little bit of Dolly's moronic stream where he was reviewing, and he was reviewing mine, and then like it sucked because like it was funny because like I tried to troll him in the sense that like I put it on private and then I unprivated it right away, and I did it just to fuck with him, you know. It's like what I was really hoping for was that his chat would tell him no it's back up, and then he'd go back and then do it, and then I'd make it private again. But he didn't fall for it. He just jumped on this guy's what I'm streaming now. So I that's what I was hoping to do. It just didn't work out that way. So yeah. And no, Grandmaster, I was not the manager at that gym. I was not the manager. I mean, I've been in management my whole life prior to that, but I actually kind of enjoyed not having that responsibility, but I did, you know, want to be a manager later on. And then, COVID happened and everything got crazy. And then I just got pissed off at the place and quit. But yeah.
To provoke anything. If it's not fun, what's the point? I mean, because then he can react to my react, and it's just an infinite regress, right? So it just gets kind of crazy. And I'm not going to go through his whole show.
It's totally getting crazy.
Some of it, but I also
it's crazy,
I want to
man.
make the point tonight. This is something that I kind of made the other night, and it's an extension of that. I do not believe this, and you're gonna think this is crazy, and I'm gonna explain to you why. I do not believe that the defense is going to raise the issue of the 227 search for how long to die in the cold. I do not believe they are, and I don't believe they're going to raise the issue of so-called deleted texts and messages and whatever else was deleted. Let's just say deletions.
I have to speed this guy up, but real quick. I mean, homie, like, I wonder what makes you think that the defense is not going to raise the issue of the 227 search from Jen McKay's phone of how long or Haas long to die in the cold? Because I mean, I wonder what makes you think that. Could it be that every single fucking time that either one of those attorneys spoke publicly, they bring that up? So yeah, you're right. I guess why the fuck would they bring it up in trial? They would bring it up, you know, to the press every fucking time, but you know, not in trial. So that makes perfect sense, that logic. Oh my goodness, you only get a half a cut church dance.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. 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 I think we got a super dad.
Yes. LTL True Crime Podcast. Thanks again, buddy. I have a good rest of your show. I got to do that thing called work tomorrow. I'll reach out to you tomorrow about setting up a show together. Let's go. Sounds good, man. I'm into it. Sounds good. Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good night.
I don't believe they're going to. And I'm actually, there's a chance that they won't even have their expert, Rich Green, testify. And I'm going to make that.
How am I not supposed to fucking make fun of this guy for saying shit like this? How the fuck am I not supposed to make fun of this guy when he says shit like that? It's like one of the first thing he's saying. I do not believe that the defense is going to bring up of course they're going to bring it up. And of course they're going to have their own tech expert, their own phone data expert. to testify. They've absolutely said that this is what they're going to do. They've repeated this over and over again. Why would they not? And the fact is even though that's very damning evidence, I think that they still have plenty to create doubt. Plenty to create doubt.
That case to you later. And I know that sounds crazy, but listen, I think it's a case. It's something that's going to be worth considering.
My man, I mean this with all due respect. It doesn't sound crazy. It sounds stupid. It sounds like you don't listen. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you don't pay attention.
And people that are much smarter than us in legal circles right now, maybe they could chime in, because we're talking about, I'd love it for a trial lawyer, not just any lawyer, no disrespect to any lawyer. There's different types of lawyers, and trial lawyers have a very different way of looking at things and of studying juries and stuff like that. So I went over an interesting article the other day by Kevin Mahoney, and this has kind of sparked a whole series of thinking for me. And it's led me to conclude that I don't believe that the defense is going to bring up how long to die in the cold. They're not going to. So I'll get back to it. Also tonight, I want to discuss, there's a few topics. All right, I've posted over the last couple of days the topic.
Oh my God, bro.
And I think it's worth discussing, but it's not going to be from the perspective of pointing a finger at somebody else specifically, or that's not the goal. It's actually, the goal is maybe even.
Why do I feel like he's still going to point the finger at somebody?
Kind of look, I've been doing this now for 2 years. So you kind of look back over your own decisions, mistakes maybe you made, and things like that. But it's a chance for anybody else who might watch this channel that is considering starting their own YouTube or is doing their own YouTube to maybe listen to what I have to say and look in the mirror and see if you're meeting your own standard for what you think is right. Because it's important in life when you're involved in controversial things that affect other people to always be looking in the mirror, right? To always be looking in the mirror and deciding if what you're doing is the right thing.
I agree.
Is the best thing.
I totally agree with
in
that.
your life, not just in your life, but in the world.
I totally
and also
agree
I want
with
to go over a little bit, and you guys can give your opinion here on, I would say, the amazing Olivia. I don't know her. I've never heard her before. Turtle has said she's been on a show, I think, or something. I'm not sure. I haven't heard her speak, but she's, over the last couple of months, she's become very prominent posting on Twitter. And the interesting thing about her is she stands out for not only for her intelligence, she's very intelligent, but also for her knowledge of the case, which is beyond just it seems beyond insider to me. So we'll go over that. All right.
It's beyond insider. What's beyond insider? Isn't this the same guy who tried to say that Olivia was actually Karen Reed? But we're the conspiracy theorists, right? Okay.
So we'll go over her comments. All right, so let's get over to the Glare, who, like I said, I think he's pretty entertaining tonight. This is the first time I've done a reaction video. And the thing about reaction video, it doesn't seem to show. I don't know why the screen looks like that. Let me know.
The game. He didn't come into the last quarter, and it was a little too late. But this is always fun. I noticed this when somebody else was streaming this. So let's just go ahead and hear real quick. Let me add some music here for the wait. I love that he doesn't realize that he's muted this entire time. He's just got my ugly ass mug up there while he's talking and nobody can hear him. Oh, still? No? Not back yet? Hold on. So, enough about that. Yeah. There we go. Totally. I think that we've got this memorized and all worked out. So, yeah, and I think police off the cuff, as I am, except get a job at the actual channel link in the description in case anybody finds what he says insightful. that's cool. You know, if you do, all opinions, you know, I'm gonna respect.
I mean, it merits jokes, but we've all done this. There's so many times where I just been talking and I'm muted, and then, you know, you see Cherry in the chat going, "You're muted, asshole." And yeah,
opinions.
But he's still muted. Here we go. Hold on. Still? No? Jesus. Fail. All right. I don't have all night. So let's just, okay. Still, nope. Still nothing. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Come on. Oh, okay. Wait. Okay, wait. I thought I heard something. No? Still? Okay.
Same handles that you guys got here that you got on Twitter. And I mean, Twitter was eventful today, man. People were going at it. And none of it was even about Bill Cannon, 27 years of law enforcement and investigations and not working at Piggly Wiggly. None of that was about even him. It was just general,
Today, Junior.
His case. And so yeah, it was pretty interesting. And if he's here, he's welcome. He's welcome. Okay, Yellow Cottage Tales, and yes, like I said, his description and correct name of his channel is in the description. His channel link is in the description with the correct name. In case anybody does actually find what he says insightful, go ahead and subscribe to him. But I gotta warn you, man, I'm being nice so far, and I might be nice this whole way. But I'm telling you, this is reaction. I have not even watched your shit yet, so we're gonna find out what you're all about, my friend. So at the very least, you get a little promotion for your channel. So. I hope it all works out for you, man. This was the one that I was told to review. I was asked to review. So let's check that out.
If it proves true that there was a conspiracy to frame Karen Reed for the murder of her boyfriend, Boston cop John O'Keefe,
speed it up a little bit.
I'll quit. True crime analysis. That's a promise. I'll do a live her boyfriend, Boston cop John O'Keefe. I'll quit. True crime analysis. If it proves true that there was a conspiracy to frame Karen Reed for the murder of her boyfriend, Boston cop John O'Keefe, I'll quit. True crime analysis. That's a promise. I'll do it.
Okay. My man, you haven't quit yet? I mean,
so he likes to giggle a lot, this guy, you know. Anyways, but I'm just explaining my reasoning on this. I've made a strong stance that it's extremely unlikely there's a conspiracy here. Now, my conclusion, unlike his, is not based on a couple of weeks of watching turtle videos. My conclusion is based on looking at the evidence. Now, I could be wrong, all right? But
I mean, but is it though? You know what I mean? Because I actually did this live, which is really funny. I did the research on this live. And I said live, I'm not going to be looking at any Turtle Boy videos until I've looked enough at the evidence to draw my own conclusion. And that's exactly what I did. Then I started looking at Turtle Boy videos, and then I brought Turtle Boy on. And yeah, so I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, because I totally looked at the evidence. I don't draw these kind of conclusions. Like, really, like, come on, man. You know, like, do you really think that I'm the kind of guy that's just gonna fucking assume that there's a fucking conspiracy amongst a bunch of cops to frame a woman for murder without like really looking into it, when I actually respect law enforcement and respect the institution of it? I mean, it doesn't make sense that, I mean, okay.
I feel so strongly enough about it that this is that the conspiracy here is so improbable and so illogical that if my calculation of that is so far off, then I'm happy to quit because I never wanted to be a podcaster.
Stop saying calculation. You didn't calculate anything.
That's the way. Last week when the Channel 5 story was coming out, I was kind of like, man, wouldn't it be great if there is a conspiracy and they start indicting people tomorrow? Because then I can just quit and do stuff that's more fun. Because this is kind of tedious to me, you know. But nobody necessarily likes having hundreds of people attack them every night in a mob and send them messages all day. You know, that's what a mob does.
What's tedious? Thinking, reading. That's tedious. I mean, okay. All right. But come on.
And you have to stand up to it. I don't back down. But if I'm proven wrong, then I'll have to back down. And that'll be great. So that's why I said that. And I could explain that to him. But even though I was there in chat and said, I'm happy to come on your show, he didn't want to do that. He'd rather attack me when I can't defend myself. So.
No. I made it abundantly clear. Listen, you don't just jump into somebody's fucking chat and be like, and expect them to just stop their fucking show, you know, to debate when that's not what I was there to do. I'm happy to do it in the future, most definitely. I would never review somebody who I would not be willing to invite on the show and talk to them, but you don't get to just dictate how I'm going to run my fucking show because you showed up in my chat. So that kind of arrogance, I just don't abide by here. Sorry. I just don't. Like, I mean, there's certain people, like, I'll be honest, there's certain people that if they did show up in my chat, I'll be like, all right, yeah, come on up. But you're not of that breed. You haven't gotten there yet, dude. Like, you gotta wait.
Because I mean, it's pretty true, bro. Like, there's clearly
I'm a happy guy. What can I say?
All right, let's break it down. Let's break it down for like specifics here, for the sake of specifics. He said, if it proves true that there was conspiracy to frame Karen Read, okay. All right.
Oh, I would love for Betty to come up here. She won't.
That there's a conspiracy.
I would love for Betty to come up here, but she won't. She never will. She never will. The thing is about Betty is she absolutely knows. She absolutely knows that I'm going to face her with things that she's not going to be able to weasel out of. And this is why she will never come up here. It'll never happen. And I told her I will stop reviewing her if she ever did, but nothing.
To cover up a shoddy ass investigation. That, I mean, so he didn't agree to quit based on that, but you got to be a damn fool if you don't see that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've all said that at this point, it looks like a lot of elements of this investigation were shoddy. But you also have to understand that the troopers, the investigators, have not had a chance to explain how what decisions they made and how they made them. So they will have a chance to do that during the trial. And so it's better to judge it then. And the other thing you have to remember is that this is an investigation is a huge thing with a lot of little elements. And it's
that's
the
the
defense
thing
team's job.
This is why I don't take anything this guy says seriously so far. Is because I mean, it's interesting to me that you know, he's saying something like, well, you know, these troopers have not had a chance and they will in trial to explain why they made so many mistakes in their investigation. So he's admitting that they made multiple mistakes in their investigation. That right there, a jury's not going to give a fuck. This is what this guy doesn't seem to understand. A jury just doesn't seem to like, they're not going to give a fuck about excuses as to why these guys did a half-assed, if that at best, a half-assed job at getting a police officer justice for his death, for his untimely death, for his clearly violent death, his death of a clearly violent nature. There's no way that you're going to be able to explain that out to a jury. Like, what excuses could they possibly give for all of these careless mistakes? And this is where this guy's not thinking that far ahead. Because, okay, well, we have to wait till trial. Okay, I get that. there's a lot of things that are going to be addressed at trial that we don't have actual answers to. But I don't see in any way, shape, or form how you're going to explain away to a jury all of these mistakes. Like what? I was drunk. Proctor's going to say I was drunk. Bukkake's going to go, I was drunk. I mean, that's the best excuse I can think of. Or, you know what? I skated my way through the fucking academy, and I haven't, you know, or, you know, they're not going to be honest and say, well, our families are friends and we all grew up together, and I'm not about to sit there and implicate my friends and make them look bad. They're not going to be honest and say that. So what other explanation could there be when there's clear proof of their association? There's clear proof that Michael Morrissey lied. Michael Morrissey absolutely lied in a public video statement stating that the Proctors and the McCabe's don't know each other. It's clear bullshit because it's been proven over and over that they associate with each other, that they know each other, that they're close with each other. I mean, so I don't see how this is going to get explained away in trial.
Is to find those 2, 3, 4, 5 things that stand out as not poorly done and cast a light on them as though they're suspicious. Now, that said, I've been very critical here all summer, including right up until the last episode, of what seems to be police work. I don't understand why they didn't take a picture of Karen's car in Dighton. I don't understand. I don't understand why the Dighton cop didn't take a picture. I don't understand why the Dighton cop didn't write a more detailed report, and I don't understand why Michael Proctor didn't do those things either. Or if they did do that, I haven't seen it. Maybe that'll show up in trial, but I haven't seen anything that looks like that on the discovery list. I also don't understand why the plow driver was not into. Oh, I want to do a correction while I'm here too. Lucky reached out to Dave, and I always want to get things right. So I had been given.
Did he just say that the plow driver wasn't interviewed?
Let's just make it easy. So Lucky has.
Did he just fucking say that the plow driver wasn't interviewed? Because I happen to know for a fact that he was. Yeah.
Plowing for more than that. I think the job didn't become maybe full time until that point, or whatever it was. It was not Lucky's first time plowing that night, or his first year plowing. Okay, so I want to correct the record on that. So I'm not saying that all these are bad plower or anything like that. Lucky, reach out anytime, reach out to other people directly, however you want to do it. I want to. If you're doing live shows for a couple hours when you get on, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to get things wrong. And I was just given that information that day, and it turns out to be wrong, and so I'm happy to correct it. So let's go back to the glare.
I mean, I'm just being honest here, dude. You've got to be a fool. Anybody, that's what's killing me right now, is nobody seems to want to acknowledge the fact that there's clearly a whole bunch of, we fucked up, but we're too proud, so we're going to double down, triple down, quadruple down on all of our mistakes. And I'm being nice by saying mistakes, because I am still entertaining the possibility, not the likelihood, but the possibility that when we get to trial for Karen Read, that there could be a smoking gun, like a fucking ace in the hole that the prosecution has. And again, I don't know that, Yellow. Tails. I don't know that, Kevin. I don't know that yet. I haven't watched your stuff yet. So just in all fairness.
I'll do a live.
Okay, so maybe he just didn't finish. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just didn't finish his sentence there, because he didn't sound like he finished his sentence. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, he absolutely was interviewed. I mean, it's right here. I mean, it's right here. Do you remember, say, and I'm going to go over this interview at some point. But this is the interview right here. It's right here. So I mean, again, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and maybe he just didn't finish his sentence. You know, I like to be fair. Somebody in his chat said Kevin got plowed by the glare last night. Just read that when I was pulling this back up.
This wrong.
See, I respect that. I respect that.
I should hang up. There was no conspiracy to frame Karen Read, and that can be determined with mathematical probability beyond a reasonable doubt. Let's go.
Mathematical probability.
I want to just explain a little bit what I meant and didn't mean by mathematical probability. When you're doing a video like this, you're not actually, this isn't physics. This isn't something you're trying to truly calculate. This isn't even, the football odds. The point that I was trying to make is very simple. And I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but you say something like mathematical probability in order to draw people's understanding. So it's a little bit of a metaphor and you want them to understand it. But I explained it in the video. So the idea is basically this. If the Celtics have a 1 in 10 chance of winning the championship this year, and if the Bruins have a 1 in 10 chance of winning the championship this year, what is the chance that they both will win the championship this year in the same year? And the odds are 1 in 100 if they're both 1 in 10. And I wanted people to understand that that's how, that if you have in a case, any case, or any event, numerous unlikely things that are all needed together to happen, then they multiply. So what is the odds, for instance, that the DA Morrissey is lying, that Michael Proctor is lying at 34:30 that night? He could be lying, right? I mean, I'm not someone that gives anybody the benefit of the prosecution, DAs, the FBI, nobody gets the benefit. We're all your own motives and strange things happen. But one thing that I do kind of have a lot of faith in is the idea that people act in their self-interests, especially people that are corrupt, right? But I mean, so if Morrissey, and I'm not saying he's corrupt, but I'm saying if he is corrupt, you shouldn't have trouble buying that he's going to act in his own self-interest. Well, if Michael Morrissey is lying about Michael Proctor being at that scene, it's going to be uncovered. I mean, it's almost certain.
He is lying. It's been uncovered.
And several, including multiple state police.
It's
including
been uncovered.
What are
you talking about?
From Ken. Michael Proctor is from Ken. Michael Proctor is a state cop. Somebody would have recognized him. So unless they're all in on this, somebody would say the DA's lying, and they'd be able to prove it. And so the DA he'd be in trouble. So it's extremely unlikely to me that the DA would lie. Now, what would Vegas put the odds on that? I don't know. Is it 1 in 10, 1 in 1,000? I don't know, and it doesn't matter, because the point is, what I'm trying to make you understand is that that's just one thing that needs to happen for the conspiracy to work. Now, you can say, all right, well, what if Michael Proctor wasn't there, but Michael Proctor had somebody else go to the scene and plant evidence? All right, fine. But now you've got another aspect of the tree that is changing the probability. If you have, there's no question that this case, the only way that it could be a conspiracy is if evidence was planted at the scene, if that taillight evidence was planted. And there's no, so it had to be a trooper that did it. It had to be the main trooper leading the investigation. I don't even actually think Proctor is leading the investigation. He's outranked by Buchanan, and Tully is outranks them both. Maybe Proctor was just the main writer of the reports. I really don't know exactly how it breaks down. But my point is that if the theory is that Michael Proctor is the one that planted this evidence, it does require evidence planted for this to be a conspiracy.
I love it, and it doesn't require Michael Proctor necessarily planting evidence for this to be a conspiracy. But okay, let's just say that that's the case, even because we know that he did. Like we totally know that he did. But yeah, why doesn't he bring this up ever? I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. But so far, he hasn't brought up the fact that that the DA is absolutely under federal investigation. I wonder why that is. They don't just, like, the feds don't go and start investigating a fucking district attorney's office, just for the fuck of doing it. You know what I mean? They don't do that. Like they have to have probable cause to do that. They have to have a reason to do that. They clearly have reason to do that. There's so much involving this case.
And now we're going down to the idea that Michael Proctor was unlikely to be there, very unlikely to be there, because otherwise the DA is lying. So then now Michael Proctor has to enlist somebody else to do the job. Well, now you have multiple people that are involved in the conspiracy. And the more people that you have co-opted into this, a murder, it's not just any conspiracy, it's a murder conspiracy. You're conspiring to frame an innocent woman. So and everybody that's involved in that is risking their life. And any cop that's involved with planting evidence is going to go to jail for a very long time if he's caught. So this is, and there's a pretty good chance he's going to get caught.
And one thing that you're not acknowledging either there, Kevin, is that they all could be implicated. This is the reason for the conspiracy. So you're thinking of conspiracy on the level of, oh, let's just, and a bunch of evil people twisting their mustaches and yeah, we're all gonna just just put something together and frame this innocent woman with absolutely no reason to do so. That's not what anybody here is implying. That's not what anybody here is accusing them of. The fact is that everybody could be implicated. Everybody could be implicated because there were so many people in that house. We're talking about witnesses. We're talking about possible obstruction of justice. We're talking about lying on police witness statements. We're talking about all kinds of little crimes that these people could absolutely be implicated in that could lead to somebody being charged with murder. And of course, there's motive to cover that up because these people were all friends, if not family. So everyone could absolutely be implicated. I mean, so that's the motive for the conspiracy. It's not that far-fetched when you think about it. Everybody is covering not only their own ass, but they're covering each other's asses because that's the whole point. Okay, we're all in this together. We'll point the finger at Karen because fuck her. We don't know her. She's not family. She's just the girlfriend of our friend. She's the girlfriend of Jen's friend. That's it. Like, fuck her and throw her under the bus. I mean, it's a very simple. It's a very simple motive.
Because there's so many ways that this conspiracy could have unraveled, right? So if somebody goes to that scene and plants evidence at 5:30, if anybody had snapped a picture of Karen's SUV in the preceding 15 hours and it showed the taillight intact, the conspiracy is going to be uncovered. If any one person in that house breaks, and none of these people are criminals, and most of them are, some of them are wives, and they're just regular people. If any one of them gets nervous about this and decides to go to the police, then all those troopers or any one of those troopers that's involved is going to jail for a long time. So it's super high risk. The stakes are really high. And all of that makes it extremely unlikely that any one trooper is going to do it. But now if you're expanding that to this trooper has to get other troopers to do it, again, the mathematical probability goes up substantially. Now, what is that number? I don't know. And I don't know if there's a way to calculate it, but I want you to understand that all these things multiply together, just like the Celtics.
But you had all those calculations worked out in your last stream, dude. The one that I reviewed, the one that you're reviewing. You had all those calculations, and now you're saying that you have no calculations for this? Now you're admitting it? So, check. Yeah.
So that's what I went over in the video, is that there are numerous things that have to go together.
So are you a mathematician, Kevin? I gotta ask you that.
No.
Well, since you're in chat, are you a mathematician? Do you have a degree in algebra? Or I mean, I don't even know how math degrees work. I got a GED, so I can't even debate you, honestly, because I'm kind of stupid. You know what I mean? So, but I'm curious why we should take you seriously as far as mathematical proving something mathematically, as you're claiming to do here.
Which you totally claim to do.
Like what I learned the value of the Delphi models, which I began studying just last year. Once friends of mine knew I was studying the case, they started sending me material. One of the first things I got was a link to a video that centered on a photo taken from the bridge through the railway slats, so it was below. He zoomed in on this photo until the forest became little more than random pixels. The narrator could apparently see things I could not, such as
I mean, that's incredibly telling as well. Like when someone is just inconsistent, because this guy, he changes shit up left and right. He's stuck on the narrative that Karen Read is guilty. And then as soon as somebody debunks something, and it's not just him, it seems to be every single fucking person that is convinced of Karen Read's guilt. And then as soon as somebody goes, no, dude, that's not true. Look at this and look at this. And then they go, oh, okay, well, then how about this? And then they bring up some other shit, or they have some stupid, like, dumb way of explaining away their shit to double down so that they don't look stupid. But they don't realize that it just makes them look stupid when you don't have anything. The difference between anybody who is has come to the conclusion that Karen Read is innocent. Okay. Now I haven't even come to that conclusion totally. I agree with him in the sense that we have to wait until trial. I agree with him as far as that's concerned. I'm saying that with everything that I'm seeing now, everything that I am that has been made privy to me personally, that I've looked into, I'm totally seeing some sort of fucking cover up here. The difference is I'm not sure if it's a cover up to frame Karen Read necessarily, or a cover up to cover up the fact that they conducted a very shoddy investigation, a very lazy one. But it makes more sense that Karen Read is being framed. It just does. You know, I mean, I get that they're going to try to save face or whatever, but most of the evidence really dictates like they did everything that they could to cover up the fact that Karen Read did not hit him with this car. I mean, look, let me get into something else. Let me show you guys something that I looked at earlier that I thought was just really funny. It really made me laugh because I'm going to play it a couple of times. Because it's very, very funny. It's very funny to me. Hold on. This is his reenactment of John O'Keefe being run over by Karen Read. I'm sorry. And I hate laughing at something like this because, like, obviously John O'Keefe's death is not a laughing matter, but the explanations that these people come up with are, like, without a doubt, they just are. I mean, look at this. Just look at this. I'm going to pick up a cocktail glass. Oh, hey, bink. Oh, I mean, come on, man. Hold on. Let me one more time. This is the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. So let me get this straight. So now I'm only laughing at this because I'm only laughing at this because none of this is consistent with any of his injuries. Like, none of his injuries. He gets hit in the front of the head, not the back, right? Now, does he land on the back of his head? Sure, but it doesn't account for, I guess, the 3 different skull fractures that he suffered. It doesn't account for what happened to his arm. It doesn't account for any of the injuries on his upper body. And it's the driver's side tail light. Exactly. It's the driver's side tail light that hits him. So the car is coming from the wrong direction. First of all, it's the wrong tail light that hits him. And let's watch this one more time. Like, how do you account for all of the other injuries? Please, like, let's do this one more time here. I mean, hold on. This requires some I can't, dude. One more time. Bro. That explains it. That explains it. There you go. That explains it. Dude, you're killing me, bro. You're fucking killing me.
But hundreds of thousands of people were taken in by this. Why? Talking about intelligent people. One thing it reveals is the power of suggestion. Someone plants the idea in your mind of what you're looking at, and then you start to see it, even if you're just looking at pixels. Works best, of course, if you're seeing something that some part of you really wants to see. Another thing I learned in the Delphi case is that when you learn something matters. The sequence of how you learn things really influences the narrative you perceive. And once your mind starts to see a narrative.
Real quick, I gotta address Patty Murphy's comment here. Hey, getting your GED is way harder than going through high school. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's not. No. I mean, you could score weed a lot easier. That's true. But no, I disagree. My GED was cake. It was very easy.
Narrative, it starts to twist everything to fit that narrative. It's very hard to resist that. One advantage I had in Delphi was actually in that I came so late to the party. This meant I could take an overview without being influenced by one narrative or another. My good friend Dave, who had many years in law enforcement.
See, that all sounds great, Kevin, so far.
I mean, it
does.
does.
That all sounds great.
Until he
how
like,
I like to do things.
Applies it.
Mind took a different road because he followed the case from early on. But when he learned that a creep named Keegan Klein had been catfishing Libby, he was highly suspicious of his involvement, understandably. And over the years, with each new piece of information that leaked, that suspicion grew. A few years after the murders, Klein was finally arrested on child sexual abuse material charges, unrelated to the murders. But those charges really fueled speculation, understandably, again. Then a podcast called Murder Sheet managed to obtain the transcript of the cops interrogating Klein about the murders. That really confirmed everyone's suspicions. But now those following the case since early on were actually vulnerable because each subsequent report seemed to pile on to the idea of Keegan being involved. So when a report came out that Keegan, who lived about 20 minutes from Delphi, had Googled the location of the Marathon gas station in Delphi.
Yeah, that too, Hurt Locker. Yeah, that was funny.
No matches. In fact, he was facing decades in jail.
I can't listen to you like stroke yourself over the Delphi case, especially since I don't see the relevance, and
I'll explain the relevance. All right, it's pretty simple. I came into
and this is fair because I don't see the relevance, but if he can explain the relevance, I'm happy to hear it.
Delphi case late, very much like the Glare came into this case late, and all of a sudden,
fair enough.
Once I started looking into it, people got in touch with me and they said, "Oh my God!" and they started sending me links to videos and stuff like that. And these crazy conspiracy theories.
I mean, everybody came. People love a conspiracy. Everybody came into this case late, dude. Fucking Turtle Boy came into this case late, and
conspiracy. And it would have been really easy to jump down that road. And right now, instead of talking to you right here with 100 viewers, I'd be, I would be doing conspiracy videos and getting thousands of viewers. That case was much more global in audience size than the Karen Reed case. I know we all think the Karen Reed case is everything, but that case is huge. And
I mean,
I saw it really early on.
I was familiar with the Delphi case like a few years ago, like years ago. Like it's amazing that they finally made an arrest. Like that's a big deal. I just did not follow up with it. It's just that simple. I did not cover that case. And I did not follow up with all of the details in it. But yeah, no, that case is massive. All of these cases, like this case is a big deal, but the reason why this case is a big deal is because there's so much doubt, and the DA just seems to just double down and triple down on their bullshit that is clear bullshit. That's what makes this case such a talking point for the true crime community. And it's also, ironically, it's what makes this case not a talking point for so many true crime creators, because so many true crime creators don't even want to touch it. They're afraid to touch it. They're afraid to look into this, and they know that there's so much doubt, but they're afraid to defend someone who may or may not, someone who could very possibly be guilty or be innocent, be innocent, and they don't want to trash cops. They don't want to publicly trash cops. They don't want to be misconstrued as people who don't support law enforcement. And I understand that. But make no mistake that the reason why most of these larger creators who haven't touched this case, it's because they're afraid to, simply because it's a PR thing. Like, they have an image to protect, and they don't want to get criticized for criticizing law enforcement in any way, shape, or form. And that's just how it is. And I understand that. But mark my words, that when this case goes to trial, they're all going to jump all over it like flies on shit. Every single one of them that are too scared to talk about it now are going to jump all the fuck over it as soon as the trial starts. And they're going to be streaming the trial. And they're those with 100,000, 200,000, and 1 million subs are going to fucking jump all over this and talk about the progress in the trial. Why? Because everyone's going to be fucking talking about this. Everyone is going to be. So you're going to see there are going to be people who actually care. And then there are going to be people who see it as just another talking point, just another controversial thing that's going to get them views. Watch and see. Guaranteed.
That what they were doing was it may seem like innocent entertainment to people, but it's harmful. We're not talking about the Lizzie Borden case or something where they're all dead. So one of the main theories is people were blaming the sister, Libby's sister, who was like 16, that she dropped the girls off at the trail. And they were saying that Libby arranged to have those girls sacrificed by a satanic cult. And there are hundreds of thousands of people that now believe this conspiracy. And the defense recently, even though the guy that they finally arrested on this last October is in jail awaiting trial, and in jail he confessed to his mother and his wife that he killed the girls. So they had to come up with a crazy conspiracy theory to go get past that. And the theory they use kind of capitalizes on the conspiracy theories that have been sweeping through the public about a satanic cult. Except in this case, the defense threw together a conspiracy that was based on an Odin cult. And they basically said the guards had been part of the conspiracy and forced Richard Allen to confess to his mother on the prison phone and to his wife. So that's what we're dealing with here. And you have a choice. If you're grifting, you jump on the conspiracy. If you're not grifting, you follow the truth.
That's not true.
And you don't get as many views, but you do.
That's not true.
And
see,
this was
historically
kind of one of the early.
Historically, you get the views by jumping to the conclusion of someone's guilt before anything happens, before you have any information really. You just jump to the person's guilt because most people want the drama. I've talked about this for years, people. I have made this point since I started covering crime cases. Okay. And I will make this point again. The fact is people jump to the worst possible conclusion because it's dramatic, because people who follow true crime, the majority of people who follow true crime are more interested in the drama that takes place in the crime cases rather than the actual truth and the facts, because it's more dramatic and it's more beneficial and entertaining. Okay, because make no mistake, true crime is a genre. True crime is a genre that you'll see in your favorite streaming services like HBO Max, Hulu, or whatever. You'll see true crime, you'll see drama, you'll see comedy, it's a genre, okay? So the fact is that the grifters will jump to the most dramatic conclusion because it generates views. It just so happens that, yes, a conspiracy absolutely is a bit dramatic, for sure. The idea of that is absolutely dramatic, but I would not jump on that. I am the guy that has always been like, I'm not going to just do this because it's dramatic. I'm not going to jump on this bandwagon that the whole world is going to assume that someone is guilty because it's more dramatic and more entertaining. I won't do that. But the same goes in the other direction. I'm not going to just jump on a bandwagon that is saying that Karen Reed is innocent and there's a bunch of cops conspiring to cover it up. I'm not gonna do that because it's more dramatic, because it generates views. I'm not going to do that. I'm the guy that will go the opposite of what everyone else is saying if I feel like the masses are just doing what the masses do. I do not subscribe to mob mentality. I never ever do that. I've been covering cases for 5 years now. And anybody who's followed me consistently all this time will tell you that. So I would not come to these conclusions. I would not form these opinions unless I did some serious research and unless I had serious doubts of someone's guilt. I would not.
Early cases that I was doing, and those are the lessons that I took for that. And to me, that's easy to apply to the Karen Reed case for obvious reasons.
Really haven't followed the Delphi case all that much.
Of what they found on his phone. So if it was there, they'd have it. It was then a false report. He never searched for the gas station.
Okay.
Yeah. It might also, if there was, in fact, a conspiracy. Once you have that 227 search in mind, it colors everything else you see. But if that search becomes uncertain, then you might start to see other aspects.
Oh my God, I can't believe that poll is so close.
Be too late.
Shut up, Cherry. Don't do it.
Even if you take away that original piece that set you on the road,
don't do it,
everything
Cherry.
else you've seen has already been colored by that narrative. It's very hard to undo it. There's no need to go into it at length here. But trust me, by the time the trial is done, you'll be convinced by forensic data.
On a mass level, it is. I disagree with you on that. On a mass level, it absolutely is. But on a like a logical, independent individual level, no, not at all. Like if somebody is rational and they're a rational, critical thinker like myself, that I pride myself as, if you prove to me straight proof, my ego, which is prominent, by the way, I'm not denying that, but my ego is going to get checked. My ego is going to get checked, and I'm going to go, well, fuck, I can't argue that. I mean, it's right there. It's evidence. Plain and simple. Because I know for a fact, and everyone here can attest to this, I went into this case with an absolutely open mind. When I first started even exploring this case, I did it on a live stream so people could see. So I went into this with an absolutely open mind, and I was not ready. I wasn't even ready to even talk to Turtle Boy when I first started talking about this, because I was like, I don't want any influence at all. I want to just look at the evidence and then make up my own mind. And that's exactly what I did.
Data experts that the 220.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he did that, because it sounds like he's a pretty rational guy, a pretty intelligent guy. So he's probably done that with other cases. But this is the thing here. So he's back with this evidence in a place that we were in the early part of the summer on 227 and many other things. And it's not his fault that he's behind, but that's where he is. And we were super convinced by this stuff back then too. But that's why you maybe have to have a little bit of understanding. You have to seek out the other side. If you're not, you're not really digging into a case.
I did that first. I did that first. Because I was like, that's the thing is naturally what I did was I was like, I'm not ready to jump to the conclusion that there is dirty cops. I'm just not going to do that. The idea of that scares the shit out of me. I didn't want to even really face that possibility. So I absolutely went in this thinking, okay, well, cops are doing their jobs. I'm going to look at this like the cops are doing their jobs. I'm going to look at every single police report and think, okay, well, not police report, but statements, at least interviews. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to assume these cops are doing their jobs. I didn't know who Proctor was. I didn't know who Bukaki was. I didn't know any of these people. But I did not feel comfortable jumping to the conclusion that there were dirty cops. I just didn't want to do that. I didn't feel comfortable. I'm still not comfortable with it. But I mean, how do you deny evidence? How do you deny sheer evidence of absolute and total conflict of interests and mishandling of evidence and I mean the lack of crime scene tape, lack of a crime scene investigative unit showing up until like what, 12 hours later. I mean, these are all things that you cannot deny. You cannot deny these things. So to sit there and you know, say, oh, well, you know, it's just more fun. I'm just going to, well, you know, dirty cops, conspiracy. Yay. Fun shit. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I have respect for law enforcement. And yeah, it's a lot like the movie Copland, man. It's fucking weird. And yeah, it's easy for him to say that I'm behind. I mean, he doesn't fucking know. I mean, because it doesn't take that long to catch yourself up. You know what I mean? All you got to do is a little heavy reading. That's all you got to do. A little bit of heavy reading. It's a little time consuming, but you know, you could catch up relatively quickly. You know what I mean? And no, I don't have every detail of this case memorized. That's true, but I doubt he does. You know?
And at some point, this is the other thing. So back, just again, some introspection. Back in May, when I guess I was grifting a little bit too, you know, you're trying to ride the conspiracy wave. And then all of a sudden, I can remember back in May watching Turtle Boy's show, who I had only been watching since the story broke. And I'd comment on the channel, you know, just saying something about the case, and everybody be like, oh yeah, we love Yellow Cottage Tales. But that's how it is. They love the people that support the conspiracy. And what Bill is experiencing right now is the glare of that. He's seeing all of a sudden how nice Turtle Boy can bring in hundreds of people onto his channel that will attack other people and will support you. And it's hard to resist that glare. But ultimately, if you want the truth, you'll keep asking questions. And I have no doubt that this guy is smart enough to get to the truth if that's what he wants.
What do you think I've been doing, bro?
You have to learn to resist the glare of that spot of that adjective.
Stop with the pun, bro. Like, you use the same pun 3 times in fucking 1 minute, bro. Stop with the puns, first of all. Second of all, what the fuck do you think I've been doing? All I've been doing is asking questions.
Relation that you're going to get from the mob. So we'll see if he chooses to do that.
27 search is at best uncertain and more probably unlikely. I've studied data a lot this summer, and the only certain thing about any single piece of data is its uncertainty. But the 227 search has a big impact on everything else you see. Once you have 227 stamped on your brain, when you see the pictures of John's arm and they're shown to you along with the suggestion that they are dog bites and animal scratches,
bro,
that's what you see.
And I love that he actually posted the right pic, because this isn't the pic of John O'Keefe's arm that even the defense used to present the idea that this was a dog bite or a dog attack. But this picture, to me, is way more convincing that it was an animal attack versus being hit by a car. I love that they said that this was blunt force trauma on that idiotic panel that we heard. Like, they straight up said those injuries were blunt force trauma. How in the fuck are those blunt force trauma injuries? Right.
Please explain to me how that's blunt force.
Look at that shit.
I mean,
Where's
I've
the
been
bruising?
in the face. I've ran into doors. I've all kinds of shit. Like, my jaw's been broken by a Maglite flashlight. Dude, I have taken beatings, and I've been scratched. I've even been bitten. That's not blunt force trauma.
Okay, here's the problem. He's back where we were in April and May. A lot of us, you look at this, and when you were first shown the picture, you were told it was dog bites or a dog attack, and you see what looks like long scratches that you would get from nails or teeth or something like that. And it's easy to kind of say, yes, that must be an animal attack. But you have to kind of sit back and say, all right, I'm not a medical expert. Now,
fair enough.
I'm just an old bartender, and Bill just has a GED.
Okay, look, bro. Listen, my name's Will. First of all, Kevin. All right. You keep calling me Bill. I'm gonna start calling you Plevin. All right. It's annoying. Anyway, now I'm not willing to say. I've never said that's 100% a dog attack. I have never said that, at least not to my recollection. I have never said that. But I am saying, though, that's not fucking blunt force trauma, dude. It doesn't take a medical expert to see that is not that is not blunt force trauma. It doesn't take that. That's my point. Like, for you to sit there and be like, oh, well, you're not a medical. Okay, fair enough. But it doesn't take a medical expert to see that those are clearly fucking scratches and or bites. Look at that shit, dude. Look at that shit. That is not blunt force trauma. That is not bruising. Plevin.
So neither of us is an expert on this. What I did back in April and May, when I first saw these photos, was I went to Google and I Googled dog attacks from dog wounds, what it looks like. And
that's the first thing I did,
because I didn't find anything that looked like this.
Dude, it's the first thing I did. It's the first fucking thing I did. When I fucking first started exploring this case, and I did it live on a live stream, first thing I did when I heard Karen Reed's defense presenting this not this picture, but another picture of his arm that didn't have the elbow marks that you could see right there. You know what I mean? That didn't have the this right here. You couldn't see all of that. The first thing I did was Google bite marks, dog attacks. It's the first thing I did. And yeah, they totally look like that. They totally look like that. I mean, they're never going to be exact. You'd have to recreate. You'd have to get a dog to recreate exactly what happened to John O'Keefe, which you can never do. There's no way to do that. But I mean, yeah, there wouldn't be cuts from blunt force trauma. I mean, like, he totally knows that this fucking picture's sus, dude. Like,
but I really didn't find anything that looked. They all look different. They were very, very. It was amazing how different.
Of course, they look different.
And the other thing is you're looking at wounds on a corpse, so it's probably going to look different. And I think if this was taken during the medical examination, this was 2 days after John died. So I don't know how that affects all this looks. But if we go by the actual experts, I believe, well, there's one medical examiner that signed off on it, but I believe there were two present. And so they both.
Yeah, the experts that were handpicked by the prosecution. Dude, the prosecution that works for a DA who publicly lied. You see what I'm getting at here, Plevin? You get it? Okay. The DA lied, and there's a whole network of people that work under him. Okay. A whole network of people. Okay. This is what would qualify as a conspiracy. Absolutely, it would qualify as a conspiracy. Now, on top of that, the fact that you have this person who represents that entire district attorney's office, the district attorney, Michael Morrissey, lying. Now we have common knowledge that it is a fact that the feds are investigating that office. See, this fact cannot be overlooked. Okay? I mean, we don't even know what they're actually investigating him for necessarily. We don't even know what they're investigating. But we, the public, are seeing inconsistencies coming from that office that are raising questions, that are causing the people of Canton to be very, very concerned.
They both looked at it, and they said they were shallow abrasions created by a blunt object, nothing to do with a sharp object, nothing.
How is that not
that would come from teeth or a nail? And I've seen no indication.
Bro, how is that done by a blunt object and not something sharp? How is that right there done by something that is blunt and not sharp? How are these right here done by something that is blunt and not sharp? How are these over here done by something that is blunt and not sharp? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? You gotta use your eyes, bro. Look. Mira. Look, it's right here, bro. Mira eso. It's clear, dude. This is clearly done by a sharp object, not something blunt. What are you talking about?
That the medical staff at the hospital has disagreed with this at all. And now he's talking about there's been experts on several channels that go on that are medical experts that all say, no, this is not results of an animal attack. Now, I don't know, okay? But I do know that there's something wrong with me as a bartender or him as a GED guy looking at that and say, I'm certain that's a dog attack. There's something just analytically, logically wrong with that. It doesn't mean that the medical examiner,
that's what bugs me, dude, is like, I mean, I've managed bars before, okay? Like, you're going to tell me you've never been cut? As a bartender, you never been cut? I mean, you're going to tell me as a bartender, you've never been cut, you've never bruised yourself, never burned yourself, having to go back in the kitchen and grab something from the kitchen because all your servers were too busy, or because your line cook couldn't step away from the grill, so you had to run back there and grab your customer that's sitting at the bar's order. You had to get their fried pickles for them. Because I've had to do that, you know. And I mean, if you've ever worked in the bar restaurant industry, you have been cut. If you're actually a hard worker, you have been cut, burned, and bruised many times. Guaranteed. How the fuck do you not know the difference between a blunt force injury versus a sharp cut? I mean, this is killing me right here.
Like, part of the conspiracy.
This guy's a bartender, bro. Like, and you know, a bartender, I'm not shitting on that profession at all. Some of the most logical, intelligent people that I've ever met were bartenders. Absolutely. It's a very, very respectable trade. But it requires a lot of common sense. I mean, why is this guy not applying it? If he was a successful bartender, then why is he not applying the very simple, basic common sense that it takes to know the difference between an injury that's caused by something sharp versus an injury that's caused by something blunt? I mean, it's so simple.
True. But again, now you're adding more and more people into it, you know, professional people with their careers at stake who have no motive. But it's not impossible, right? Weird things happen in life. But to just reject and just dismissively say, no, again, that's back where we were in April and May, but most of us that really were not religiously worshiping the free Karen Read idea, most of us that were just kind of sitting back and objectively looking at the evidence have come to the conclusion that it's probably not an animal attack. And I think Bill would get there if he actually is looking for the truth. We'll see.
No, I'm not saying you said that, Kevin. Calm down, relax, buddy.
Plevin!
To you.
It's very hard to unsee it. We're going to have in the trial numerous medical personnel who examined John that day all say that the wounds were shallow abrasions and not from animal nails or bites. Numerous. But will it impact your thinking? Most people will probably continue to see in their mind's eye what they saw last April.
All right.
That's what the defense is banking. Most people will probably.
No way that a knife attack would cause this around the elbow. There's just no way that a knife attack would do that. I mean, at least not in the realm of probabilities. It just wouldn't.
Shallow abrasions and not from animal nails or bites. Numerous. But will it impact your thinking? Most people will probably continue to see in their mind's eye what they saw last April when the narrative was formed. That's what the defense is banking on. When it comes down to it, the most important attribute of a good defense has little to do with the law. It's about understanding human nature. Now, it's time for me to walk you through the reasons why there was no conspiracy. The mathematics of this is so powerful that if this analysis proves wrong and there actually is a conspiracy to frame this woman, I'll come on the air, do a mea culpa, and then retire from true crime. For the simple reason that if my analysis is...
Yay. Yay. Math.
Is actually that poor, I bring no value to the public debate. So you have my word, I'll quit. But I am, at the moment, completely confident in this analysis.
I mean, nobody's telling him to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I was cracking jokes, you know, about him because I don't know. I don't fucking know this guy, dude. I don't give a shit if he covers crime cases or not. You know, like my thing is like when the drama community tries to cover crime cases, I'm just like, just fucking stop. But you know, this guy, they obviously interest him, and you know, being wrong isn't a crime. You know, it's not necessarily, you know, a sign of being morally bankrupt. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the guy's a fucking grifter. You know, I don't think the guy's I know you guys have your opinions of him, but you got to understand, I don't fucking know this guy from Adam, so I'm not going to jump to the conclusion that he's a piece of shit. You know, some of you guys feel that way, and that's fair. That's fine. You guys know him better than I do, but I'm not going to jump to that conclusion until I have reason to. But I mean, but I am going to argue his what he considers to be common sense. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes I will. There's certain things that he says that okay, well, I agree with that. But for him to sit here and double down on you know, that's blunt force trauma, and that was not done by a sharp object. That's crazy. That's just dumb. You know, it's ignorant. It's willfully ignorant to say that out loud while showing the picture. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what you guys say. My microphone lights up blue. I don't give a fuck what you people think or what you say. Okay? You guys are just jumping on some crazy bandwagon and jumping to this insane conclusion that my microphone is blue, or that my microphone is yeah, I mean, it's insane to me. Like, that's clearly not blunt force trauma. It doesn't take a medical expert to come to that conclusion. Yeah, no, I'm going to keep going over that cartoon because it's very funny to me.
I get it. If what I'm going to say causes that much anxiety, just turn it off. This isn't a school assignment. You don't have
Like,
to...
and that's what I'm saying is I'm not going to sit here and be like, yes, you better quit. You know what you said. Because I mean, I don't give a fuck if this guy covers crime cases or not. That's his business, man. I mean, YouTube's a big place. Knock yourself out. You know, I mean, to keep making fucking videos like this that are fun to talk about and fun to go over. Sure. You know, I'm not going to sit here and like try to force the guy off of YouTube. You know, knock yourself out, man. But just know that, you know, somebody with common sense is going to come along and dispute what you're saying when what you're saying doesn't make any fucking sense.
Person that's interested in analysis, hear me out.
Yeah, I know. ME, medical examiner. Yes, I know. Hold on. Let me read that comment just to be. Am I a medical examiner is what you're asking. The medical examiner said blunt force trauma. So you're doubling down on that shit that I heard. So okay, let's go back just for a second. Let me see what the
because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that this dude was, you know what I mean? Like
I'm gonna go
I was like,
ahead.
wait a minute,
I'm
you're
just
actually
gonna-
like
I'm
doubling
just
down
gonna
on
be
that
bold
right
here, and
now?
I'm gonna say that it doesn't take a medical examiner to say that that's blunt force trauma. Any fucking idiot can see that that's not blunt force trauma. Any idiot can see that those are clear scratches and abrasions, if not bites.
Right. I stand
Now,
by that
scratches
wholeheartedly.
aren't scratches and abrasions by not necessarily a dog or an animal. Even I'm leaning towards an animal because it sure as fuck looks that way, and it sure as fuck looks that right here in this area, right here on the elbow, that looks like a bite. That absolutely looks like a bite, and it's right where any German Shepherd is trained to attack directly. So prove to me that that's not just because the medical, you're telling me that just because the medical examiner said that? Like,
I know you can giggle, dude, but I mean, yeah, not just a medical examiner, but
I get so much shit for giggling, bro. Like, it's so funny. Like, everybody wants to point that out. Like, I have, like, I have a nervous giggle. I have a giggle when I find something humorous. A lot of times I'll have a giggle when I'm just astounded by stupidity. Like, sometimes I'm just like, what? Wow. Even things that I'm appalled by, I'll giggle out of astoundment. So yeah, I mean, is that really like the best thing that my haters can can shit on me for? Seriously, like
the two medical examiners, but the staff at the ER. And actually, when I look at this close up, it took me a month to get out of this because, again, you're given the picture and told that, and it's hard to get that out of your mind because you've got that association. But when I look at these, I don't see depth. If you have a German Shepherd is a very powerful animal.
Yeah.
And its claws, its nails, and its teeth are going to leave very deep marks. Those actually look like shallow abrasions. They don't look like something sharp that would come from a claw. They just don't. You have to kind of.
Are you fucking blind?
Take that idea that that's been planted into your head. I mean, just look at them. They're shallow. And I don't, but again, you don't have to trust my eyes.
Dude, what do you expect them to look like, dude? Like, those are fucking deep fucking cuts. The fact is that this is post-mortem. These pictures are taken post-mortem, bro. Like, they're not going to be spurting blood. You know what I mean? Those are clearly deep cuts. Are you fucking blind? Like, I mean, this is what's so fucking, this is what's so fucking crazy to me. It's just like, dude, you're the one showing the picture and you're trying to explain it away as something that it's not, that everyone can see what it is. And you're trying to say, nope, that's not what it is. You know? No, that water's not wet. What are you, crazy? Look at that. That water's not wet. Like, what are you talking about? Like, look at it, bro. Look at it. That's all you got to do is fucking look at it. It's killing me, dude. It's such Twilight Zone shit. Like, when I sit there and I look at Coffindoffer and fucking Bill Cannon sit there and, I've been an elite investigator for 27 years, and most elite unit in homicide, and I've seen cuts, and that's definitely a blunt force trauma. No, bro. Like, why are you talking to your audience like they're fucking blind and stupid? Are you kidding? Like, dude, when you look at this dude's fucking comment section after that video, everybody's just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? It kills me every time. Kills me every time. Like, use your eyes, bro. Like, it's right there.
Go with the experts. And if you're going to question that, say, okay, well, then you have to calculate what are the odds of an expert lying about this. And
Who
I
gives a
also
fuck
have
about the
some
odds?
inside information that I've reported that the
That
canine test
tells me everything I need to know, dude. Like, when somebody's argument are the odds, what are the odds? Dude, what are the fucking odds of somebody fucking getting hit by a fucking car walking down the street? You know what I mean? It happens though, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like, what are the odds of someone playing golf getting a hole in one? I mean, pretty slim, but it happens. Like, the fact that he's using odds as an argument here, like, that's a totally invalid fucking argument. All I give a shit about is the evidence. All I give a shit about is the documentation and the pictures that I'm looking at. That's fucking evidence right there. You're not going to fucking show me that picture and go, what are the odds that the medical examiner is wrong? Dude, the odds are right there. The medical examiner is fucking wrong. Like, I'm not blind. I can see that that is not blunt force trauma. Something sharp had to have made those cuts. The prosecution even said so at one point, saying that it was the cocktail glass.
that were ordered from an independent tester by both sides this summer have come back to show there was no evidence of canine material on the clothing. So, you know, we'll see if that turns out to be true, because that's not in documents that we've seen yet. But that's information that I have. And I would say take it to the bank. But, you know, again, this is why you have to be careful about certainty. You can't be certain that this is an animal attack when multiple experts are saying that it's not. That's, I have a problem with that kind of certainty.
That makes it true.
I think we got a super dad.
So far,
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad.
When any asshole with eyes can see that is not blunt force.
Thank you, Shimmer Soul. Appreciate it.
So why the fuck would the medical examiner say something so ridiculous? Other than there's a conspiracy.
Right. It's too damn easy to make these conclusions. That's the problem.
In the trial, numerous
and we can have a debate. What's up, Turtle Boy?
Right.
It's
a little more ask.
It's absolutely it's absolutely easy to draw that conclusion because the evidence dictates it, dude. That's why it's easy to draw that conclusion. It's not easy to draw that conclusion because I pulled the conclusion out of my asshole. It's easy to draw that conclusion because the evidence dictates it.
Ass kissing.
Not today, because again, this is a reaction video. This is a reaction live to your content. I don't know anything of what you've done. Everybody here seems to be pretty familiar with it. It was requested to me to go over your shit, so I'm going over it. And so, but we can schedule something for a future time. Sure.
Right.
I'm more than happy to do that.
I completely agree with you, beautiful messy ball. I completely agree with you.
Shallow abrasions and nothing. This is case one of their own mind. I'm just an old bartender who may or may not live in a yellow cottage. The conspiracy theory in this case 100% requires that someone planted taillight evidence. That's foundational. If taillight evidence was not planted, then the other weird stuff.
Okay, whoa. Let me hear that one more time.
And then, of course, make up your own mind. I'm just an old bartender who may or may not live in a yellow cottage. The conspiracy theory in this case 100% requires that someone planted taillight evidence. That's foundational.
Okay, no. Now, since you're going to say something like, am I a medical examiner, so how can I make that assumption? We're going by the law, correct? I mean, it's fair to say.
We're not going by the law on that. We're going by evidence.
By what the law would dictate, what the law would observe, right? Well,
if we're going by what the law would observe, it's not on the people who suspect a conspiracy theory to prove it. It's on the state. It is on the Commonwealth. It is.
This is kind of where around the point where I got frustrated and turned it off, because I saw him on Dave's show tonight, and I believe he's a bright guy, but that's not a bright conclusion. That's not smart analysis. That's trying to force something to appease the mob. Okay. This has nothing to do with the law. I'm just talking about analysis of the case. All right. Taillight pieces were found from Karen's SUV, buried in a snowbank, reportedly at 5:45 by a state police CERT.
Bro. Analysis of the evidence. This guy's argument. Analysis of the evidence, dude. Of course, it's based on what the law dictates. That is admissible or what's not admissible. What is evidence and what isn't evidence. There's a law. There are laws that dictate what's admissible and what isn't. That determines whether or not that is evidence. Yes, that matters. The law matters. The law matters. I mean, we're talking about a crime case. We're talking about a woman who has been charged with murder, where her charges were manslaughter and then got upgraded to murder. After more evidence came out that it was less likely that she did this. That in itself is evidence of a conspiracy. That in itself right there is just one shred of evidence of a conspiracy. That the DA, once more evidence came out that this case has been completely and totally, this investigation has been completely mishandled, to say the least. They upgraded her charges to murder. Explain that one. Explain that the more evidence that came out that works for the defense, where it's not even on the defense, it's not on the defense to provide evidence. Explain to me, once that happens, they upgrade her charges from manslaughter to murder. How does that work? And this isn't raising red flags in your mind. Okay.
13. When they found it, there were numerous cops there. There were reporters there. It was filming. There was news trucks there. I don't know how many people there, but the street from the news video is pretty jam-packed with vehicles. So at that point, there's only two ways that taillight evidence could be buried inside that snowbank. And that has nothing to do with analyzing the law or anything like that. It's just logic when you're trying to figure out if Karen Read did this or not. If the taillight glass broke from an impact to John, then it ended up there. It got plowed up by the plow. Okay? Or the state police or somebody else, but it really has to be the state police, went there and buried the tail. We'll get into more. I mean, I could explain this to him too, but you guys have heard it all before.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry. Either the glass broke, either the taillight broke on John's head or some part of his body, or the troopers had to plant the pieces. It's an either or. There's no other road. It's A or B.
Like the fall is killing me, bro. Like the way he falls, like I can't help it. I cannot help it. Like, watch that. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Gotta watch that in slow-mo. Hold on. Oh, look, a cocktail glass. Let me go ahead and grab that. Wait, what? Oh. Oh man, I didn't hear. Man, I'm a Boston police officer and I couldn't hear an SUV hauling ass in the snow at 29 miles per hour coming at my fucking noggin, right? Dude. I man. That shit kills me, dude. That's fucking killing me. That is fucking killing me. Dear sweet, please. Sweet baby Jesus, please. Let that computerized cartoon be shown as evidence by the prosecution in the Karen Read case. Dear sweet baby Jesus, please. Amen.
Is that there was no
Oh shit, it's slowed down. My bad.
access to Karen's SUV at all until after it was towed, or during the tow, if you want to go with that. I will get into Olivia later, and she had some interesting posts on that, and I'll try to discuss them earlier. I think it's an interesting point, but I think based on the timelines that we know, it's pretty clear that so Karen's SUV was inside John's house after Karen and Kerry and Jen brought it back. So say around 5:30. Before that, it was in the house when Karen brought it home. So and there's no signs of a break-in in John's garage. So nobody thinks that anybody broke into John's garage at 4 a.m. or 10 a.m. to steal pieces of taillight. By about 7 o'clock, maybe a little bit earlier, John's family was arriving at the house because the 14-year-old niece lived there and a 10-year-old boy lived there and would be coming home soon. He was staying over with friends that night. So the family was in the house. The car, Karen's car is in the garage. Nobody broke in and tampered with the taillight while that was going on. All right. So then Karen, who had gone into the hospital and then was picked up by her father, they went back to the house, were there for a little bit, and then drove Karen's SUV back to Dighton, which is about a 45-minute drive away. That's where her parents live, and that's where Karen stayed when she wasn't staying with John. I think I think she was staying there, but they definitely drove it back to Dighton. So nobody thinks that anybody broke in to the garage and tampered with the vehicle with all those people there. All right, it's during a snowstorm. There'd be tracks in the snow. Nobody thinks it. Nobody's claimed it. So then it's a 45-minute trip back to Dighton. So I'm not sure what time they get there. Let's say they get there around noon, but it could be 11:30, 12:30. I'm not sure. But they parked it in the driveway, which has Ring camera surveillance. So it was parked under Ring camera surveillance all day. And when the police arrived to pick it up, so Proctor called up a trooper from Dighton to meet him. I mean, a cop from Dighton to meet him there to inspect it. So he got there first, inspected it, and said the car was damaged, and they had already ordered a tow because they expected this was going to be the case. And they actually had to get someone to plow the driveway too, because there was like a foot of snow that had fallen during the day. So it was pretty unlikely that anybody went in there and tampered with the car under Ring surveillance during a snowstorm. There'd be footprints in the snow. No, again, nobody has theorized that anybody tampered with the car during that time. Then the car was towed back to Dighton. Back to Canton. It was towed at 4:18. So it's a 45-minute drive. It was a blizzard. It's rush hour. We don't know what time it got back to Canton, but I would say the absolute earliest it could have got to Canton will be 5, and probably at least 5, 10, 15 minutes later. But let's be generous and say it got there somehow at 5. Then there's, I don't know what the process is. Does the tow truck driver? He's got to dump off the car. Does he get it signed? Does he pick up coffee? I don't know. But let's say he gets out of there in 5 minutes. So the earliest that I can imagine that the trooper had access to the vehicle was 5:05. Then he has to race back to the crime scene. So maybe he gets there at 5:10 if everything goes smoothly. And realistically, that's like mission impossible smoothly. But let's say he gets there at 5:10. And we don't know exactly what was there at 5:10, but you can see the video of the state police walking out with their shovels to go digging in the snow, and that's how they found the taillight pieces. It was found at 5:45. So it probably didn't take them too long, but maybe they're walking out at 5:40 with their shovels. The news truck and the news crew that was filming that, they didn't just pull in at 5:30. They would have been there for a long time setting up, and you're going to find all this out at trial. You also have
numerous. The state police CERT team was there conducting it, and there would have been neighbors standing out there, people looking out their windows, and you can see from the news videos.
Dude, I'm calling it now. Like, I'm gonna feel really bad because I know that I'm gonna be covering this trial. I'm gonna be covering this trial, and I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be laughing through the whole fucking thing. Every time the prosecution presents their case, I predict that I'm gonna be laughing at their logic. I mean, I'm gonna get frustrated because part of me is gonna be like, well, why do they think the jury's fucking stupid? Like, how stupid does the prosecution think that the jury is? That's I know I'm predicting that this is what is going to be going through my mind. Again, there might be an ace in the hole, there might be a smoking gun, but the likelihood of that, the probabilities of that, 1 in a million.
A lot of stuff there. So it was very difficult to get in there and plant that evidence in front of all those people, and because you got to bury it in the snow. The idea, we were false again, so many false ideas in this story. So, the false idea that was sent this summer that this main taillight piece, which I don't know, looks to me like it's about the size of a palm of your hand, was found sitting on the snowbank. No, it wasn't. You can see the shovel marks right there. It was buried in the snow, and that's why it wasn't found earlier. So this is where you're at. You have either A, Karen did it, or B, if there's a conspiracy, then that glass had to be planted there. And that's just logic. It has nothing to do with
Didn't Proctor go back there like fucking 4 or 5 fucking times that wasn't even documented? Like, why isn't he talking about that? Oh, look, I found another piece of the taillight. Oh, look, another piece. Oh, look, another piece. But no, that's not suspicious.
Do with the law. It has nothing to do, that's a whole other discussion.
On the prosecution to prove that Karen Read is absolutely guilty and that there was not a conspiracy theory. The burden of proof is not on the defense. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. So right there,
True Crime 101, bro.
Mark on the board for your boy.
If taillight evidence was not planted crazy, and the other weird stuff that might pop up, things that seem odd at the moment, don't matter at all. Numerous taillight pieces and one large chunk, all matching to Karen's SUV, were found at the scene. Unless someone planted those pieces, there's no conspiracy. If those pieces were not planted, it doesn't matter why the Alberts did.
And what's really funny, though, is because I know some of you guys are boiling inside going, Glare, bring up the fact that it has been proven. Yes, it has absolutely been proven.
Except he's not going to offer any proof.
Evidence to indicate that those taillight fragments were absolutely planted.
This is kind of where I don't really watch shows like this because, I'm sorry, he seems like a pretty smart guy on Dave's show, but that's just fucking stupid. I mean, there's literally no evidence. You can theorize that it was planted. But for him to sit there and just say it was proven and then not offer us that evidence, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Where does he get that from? I don't even think Turtle Boy says that. I mean, it was buried in the snow. We don't know how it got there. It either got there because somebody planted there, but there's no evidence for that. There's no picture of anybody planting evidence. Nobody has come forward to say they saw evidence planted, and it was extremely difficult to plant evidence. So I really don't understand how someone can make a statement like that. And they want to do reaction videos? I don't know. Dude, might not be in the right business.
That Ryan Nagel's statement says that the lights were intact when he saw the SUV parked. He saw all the lights intact and illuminated when he saw the SUV parked in front of.
I love that he just said that there was no evidence before I explain one of the many examples of the evidence, which is Ryan Nagel's statement. Ryan Nagel's statement absolutely is evidence. Like, I mean, how's this guy? He remembers every little detail. This guy remembers the time. Ryan Nagel remembers that her interior light was on and she was alone in the car. Ryan Nagel remembers that the lights, that there was no visible damage to the car and that the brake lights and the rear lights were illuminated, and specifies that there's no visible damage to the car. I mean, the specifics in Ryan Nagel's statement, like right there, just indicate to me absolutely that is evidence that the defense will use. Guaranteed. They're going to put Ryan Nagel on the stand and they're going to say, did you or did you not say that at this time you saw Karen Read's SUV? Did you or did you not say this? Did you or did you not say that? They're going to confront him with this. They are going to call him to the stand and they are going to confront him with this. And he is going to testify in front of the judge, the gallery, and especially the jury and the world watching that there's no way that John O'Keefe was not in that house based on his testimony. There's just no way. Because where was he? Where was he? If he wasn't in the car and the taillight supposedly broke on impact, hitting John O'Keefe, well then, if the lights were intact, he couldn't have been laying in the snow, dead. He had to have been either inside the SUV or inside the house. It leaves only those two places. And if he says that the interior of the SUV was illuminated and he saw her alone in the car, in the SUV, he had to have been in the house. There's no other place he could have been.
Fairview Road. He also saw the inside.
That is what you call evidence,
and can verify that he witnessed only one person in that vehicle, and it was a female, and that is presumably and assumingly Karen Reed. Who else could it have been? So the fact is between that and the fact that we see video footage, video data, Kevin, video data of Karen Reed backing her SUV into.
All right, there might be something wrong with this dude. I'm sorry, guys. So Nagel was parked behind Karen before the accident. Duh. I mean, I don't really, he couldn't figure that out? I don't really understand it. So then Nagel drove by. And so whatever happened, whether Karen hit John or whether.
So where was John?
Nagel didn't see it, but that proves a conspiracy. It's not even relevant.
Where was John then, bro? Where was John? That's something that I would like to, that I wish that I was directly talking to him right now. Where was John then? If it happened before this took place, where was John? If it happened before the alleged hitting of John took place, where was John? Makes no sense. Like, you can't account. You have to be able to account for the victim. And you cover crime cases. I mean, you have to be able to account for the victim, dude. And you can't account for the victim. And you're calling me stupid because I'm presenting this indisputable fact here. So, okay.
Relevant. We don't know exactly what time Nagel left, but it seems to have been he was there a few minutes. We know that the GPS showed that John arrived about, I think it was between 12:24 and 12:25. And then he never moved within 15 feet based on the margin of error from that spot. We don't know what time he got out of the car, but based on that and coordinated with the health app data, it looks like he moved his last around 12:32. So it's a reasonable, we're going to get a full accident reconstruction from the state, and I can confirm that we will, but I don't know what it is. We're going to find, so, we don't know exactly what time, but it seems pretty logical here that, so Karen and John arrived about the same time, at exactly the same time as the truck that Nagel was in. And the truck that Nagel was in allowed Karen to go first. She had the right of way because it was a right-hand turn. And so they go in and Karen parks briefly, and then she moved forward to the edge of the property, probably thinking that maybe Nagel might want to go into the driveway. So Nagel was there for a couple minutes because he texted his sister. His sister came out and said, I decided to stay at the party. Nagel's sister never saw John go in the house.
Hold on one second. Just bear with me for a second here, folks. So it says here, Karen Reed turns right onto Fairview Road. Ryan Nagel, his friend and girlfriend, yield to her at the intersection in their Ford F-150. This is a video done by our friend Sleuthy Goosey. Ryan Nagel approaches the intersection. Here's Karen. Here's Ryan. Ryan Nagel turns left onto Fairview Road. Karen Reed approaches 34 Fairview Road and stops directly in front of the driveway, having no idea what Ryan Nagel is going to that Ryan Nagel is going to the same house that she is. The SUV is first spotted by Matthew McCabe from the front door, according to Matthew McCabe's statement. John O'Keefe jumps out of Karen Reed's vehicle and runs up the driveway. It's cold. Hold on. It's cold, and he's not dressed for the cold, per Ryan Nagel. It had just begun to snow. John O'Keefe goes into the house. Karen is waiting for him to call and tell her that they're good to go in. She realizes that she's blocking the driveway and the truck has not passed her. She thinks it's probably trying to get into the driveway. She doesn't know what people who live there drive, who's here, who's coming here, etc. So she pulls up. Ryan is waiting for Julie to come out. His sister. Ryan pulls up and stops directly in front of the driveway. Julie Nagel runs out to her brother to talk, decides she's going to stay a while longer and will either sleep over or get a different ride home. Julie Nagel runs back into the house. Ryan Nagel begins to pull away. Ryan Nagel passes Karen Reed's car. Let me just mute the music here. He sees a female inside with the interior lights on. Her hands were at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, and there was no one else in the car. Now, that's pretty specific, people. That's pretty specific. I'm not going to believe this guy's statement when he is down to, his details are down to Karen Reed's hand position on the steering wheel. Think about that. 10 and 2. Her hand position on the steering wheel. He has that much of a recollection of what happened. But I'm not supposed to believe this guy? Now, there's one thing about this that I have a problem with, because I don't recall, maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't recall Ryan Nagel claiming that he saw John O'Keefe get out of the car and enter the house. She says this at the beginning of the video. I don't recall reading that in his statement. Kelly, thank you so much for the PayPal. I just got the notification. I appreciate it. So I could be mistaken. As a matter of fact, let me because I want to know. Okay, Ryan Nagel interview. On January 29th, 2022 at approximately 6:04 a.m. Canton Police, blah, 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 blah. Hold on. The said male was identified as Ryan Nagel, who was contacted by his sister Julie Nagel asking for a ride home while visiting with her friend Brian Albert at 34 Fairview. Ryan came into the Norfolk District Attorney's office for a pre-scheduled interview on Monday, February 7th, 2022. The following and blah, 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 blah. Okay, Ryan confirmed that he was contacted by Julie, requested a ride home. At the time, Ryan was with his friend Richie, who was driving his gray in color Ford F-150 pickup truck with Ryan seated in the front passenger seat. Ryan's girlfriend, Heather, seated in the back passenger compartment. Ryan recalls Richie driving down from the direction of the Kennedy Elementary School as the F-150 approached Fairview. Ryan remembers seeing a set of headlights of a mid-size black SUV coming from the opposite direction of Cedar Crest. Subsequently, Richie yielded in the vehicle, allowing it to make a right-hand turn onto Fairview. F-150 then followed making a left-hand turn onto Fairview. Ryan told us that Richie stopped the F-150 directly in front of the driveway belonging to 34 Fairview Road, and remembers the black SUV stopping along the right-hand curb towards the left side of the property. You look at the home from the street, which asked Ryan stated he did not observe any erratic operations by the SUV. It turned from Cedar Crest onto Fairview or at any point while it was in his presence. Ryan went on to say that the F-150 remained in front of the home for a period of time that was no longer than 5 minutes, in which time his sister Julie came out of the house and asked if, right, okay, see, yeah, there's nothing here about seeing John getting out of the car in Ryan Nagel's statement. So Sleuthy is understandably mistaken, but that's not a big deal. But it's crucial. In the sense, it's crucial that we understand that John O'Keefe was not seen exiting the vehicle and entering the home, as it states at the beginning of this video. Hold on. And yeah, see, it says John O'Keefe jumps out of Karen Reed's vehicle and runs up the driveway. That's nowhere in Ryan Nagel's statement. Okay. Now it could be in someone else's statement who I missed, and maybe she's going off of that. But according to Ryan Nagel's statement, that never took place. So I just want to be I'm trying to be very thorough here. But let's skip forward here. Now, Julie Nagel runs back into the house. Ryan Nagel begins to drive away. Ryan Nagel passes Karen Reed's car. He sees a female inside with the interior lights on. Her hands were at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, where there was no one else in the car, which is in that statement. Ryan Nagel leaves. Karen Reed's trying to get a hold of John O'Keefe, but he's not answering. Jennifer McCabe observes the SUV. Karen Reed leaves and heads back to John O'Keefe's house. She continues to try to contact him, blah, blah, blah. We all know the rest of that story. Now, the detail that's missing as far as Ryan Nagel's statement is that also there was no visible damage to the car, and that all of the rear lights were illuminated. So if all of the lights were intact and illuminated, you could see clearly that the lights were intact. So there's just no way. There's just no way. You have to account for the victim. And John O'Keefe is not accounted for in Ryan Nagel's statement, which is very, very important.
He has no reason to lie. And it's a smear to do that to somebody like that, who all they're doing is telling the truth. there's no reason to think that she's not telling the truth. So the truck Nagel's in, his drives by. Interestingly, we don't know what time. Let's say it's probably around 12:27, 12:28, maybe 12:29. The passenger door is probably open because the interior light's on, although I don't think we know that for sure. And I think also there was testimony from either Jen or her husband, Matt McCabe, that they saw the door open at one point. So it makes sense that John probably got out of the car, was standing there. Maybe they were still talking, arguing. Maybe he was texting people inside the house, Jen, or whatever. Now, Nagel did not see John at any time. Now, if John was standing right there at the car, that's probably more what was going on. So when he just kind of half glanced into the car, he just saw Karen. He didn't say that nobody was in there. He was kind of careful about what he said. He said, I just remember seeing Karen. He's not saying that John wasn't in the car. He's not saying that John wasn't standing there. He just didn't see that stuff. And it makes sense to me that if John was standing there in the dark and the door was open, then all he would notice is Karen.
Oh, Calamity, I'm not worried about you. Don't worry about that. I got your Cash App from earlier, so thank you for that. You're trust me, I'm not worried about it. Thank you so much.
So this is kind of crazy stuff here. I mean, I don't. We are trying to do rational analysis,
John
right?
O'Keefe's vehicle at his house, right where the taillight would have broken. So this was after the fact. That absolutely would indicate that those taillight fragments were planted underneath John O'Keefe's body.
Oh boy, where to start with this dude? All right, this is the problem with coming into a case late and then pretending you know what you're talking about, because it's not his fault that he's not caught up, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. And if you're only going to Turtle Boy for information, you're never going to know what you're talking about. All right, because he's giving, and that's not even against Turtle Boy. It's giving you one-sided information. And so common sense in any, listen, you go out for the night and you find out a couple of your buddies get into a fight inside your house and you weren't there. You come back. Do you get just one side? No, you get two sides. So you're presenting yourself as a kind of logical, reasonable person. Do that, dude. Get both sides. Find out more information because you're seriously short of it. So Karen backed into John's SUV in the driveway at 5 a.m. All right. We don't know what damage was done. It was at very, very low speed. Did it crack the taillight? Maybe. Did it do some damage? We do know that no damage was found on John's vehicle. Okay. Maybe they didn't tell you that. It's in the report. You didn't read it. But Bill, no damage was found on John's SUV. Now, I'm not one of those people that believes it's impossible to damage one car and have the other car be undamaged. I believe it is possible at a low speed collision to have minor damage on one vehicle and not.
Why aren't you acknowledging the fact that there was no damage to her taillight at 5 a.m. when she had just hit his car? I mean, she drives away. You could see that the taillight's intact, because if her taillight was broken, there would be at least a glimmer of white light in the taillight part of that vehicle, but there wasn't. The taillight was absolutely intact at 5 a.m., which is hours after this supposed drunken hit and run took place. So yeah, I mean, this guy is just he's just skipping over details that are documented, details that there are video evidence of and there are witness statements of. This is what he's doing. I mean, there's no way that this guy, I mean, if I were to sit here, and I'm willing to do it, I'm gonna have all of these documents ready to go, and I'm gonna be perfectly willing to talk to this guy if he wants to. I mean, he seems brave enough to do it. So, you know, and I'll be respectful to a certain degree, you know, I mean, I'll be respectful because at least he'll have the guts to come up here and do it. He seems so sure. But I mean, the fact is when I see things like this, let me do this one more time. I'm going to close out with this one more time. I love how the cocktail glass is supposedly the sharp object that that cuts his arm up, but yet it lands nowhere near him. I love that shit. I adore that shit. This is just the funniest shit to me. Oh, look. A cocktail glass. A really big one. Oh. Yikes. Ay. Oh. Like lands absolutely nowhere near where he was found. Nowhere near where he was found. Fantastic. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It's getting late. I am exhausted. But I had a great time with you guys as always. And I'm going to be going over some other stuff, I'm sure. Very, very soon. Got some stuff in the works with LTL podcasts. I'm looking forward to that. I really like that dude's channel. He's a good dude. Seems to have those smarts, those Massachusetts smarts that I like. I'm looking forward to that. And I guess he wants to have some sort of like big panel. That's cool. I'm anything that dude wants to do, I'm down. So, anyways, and where's the library footage? Where's the library footage? Where's the ring camera footage? Where's any of this shit? Fascinating. But, this shouldn't raise any questions, right? Anyway, guys, you guys are fantastic. Thank you guys for all of your support. Thank you guys for all of your, for just being up late, man, and hanging out with me. I did not expect to have this many people in here. So I'm really grateful to you guys. Let's see if we'll do something tomorrow. I'm not sure, but hopefully we will. If not, the next day. But anyways, guys, you guys are fantastic. I love you very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.